Ahoy there! These are the looks I put together for days 21 through 31 of the Pirate Project. I had my friend Scott Lewis take this shot at the beach by the Cliff House along the Great Highway. This flag I've had since high school. I don't get as much use out of it as I would like, and I had thought of this shot from the start of the project, the idea of doing sort of a twist on the classic pin-up of a girl wrapped in an American flag. A pirate flag is also called a Jolly Roger, and it would really strike fear into the hearts of sailors when they would see an approaching ship flying a black flag. And different pirates had different flags, so the sailors would know who was coming and what they were in for. This one's kind of generic, except that it has an eye patch, which is why I wore an eye patch too. The next day I wanted to do a shot as if I were the cook in the galley or the kitchen of a pirate ship. Wanted to be a little bit dirty, so there's a little grease paint. The apron I bought around Halloween time a couple years ago. And the bottle in the shot I got at Cost Plus World Market. It was filled with an amber ale that I drank up and saved the bottle from. And what else would a cook be preparing for pirates to eat but limes? Gotta get that vitamin C to prevent scurvy. The silly stocking cap and freshly shaved face helped me achieve the innocent cabin boy look I was going for this day. This striped tank top with the sailing boat gingham applique, that's from Goodwill. I got it the same day actually as Miyaka and I did our thrifted pirate looks, wearing a bandana around my waist again. Cutting a jagged edge on an old pair of pants is always a great way to be a pirate or a castaway, and to finish it all off, a pair of striped socks. This day I also stopped in at the Pirate Supply Store, 826 Valencia. Its primary function is actually to tutor kids in English and creative writing. They've got a big space for that in the back, but in the front, they sell funny pirate products. You can see the bottles behind me are full of emergency treasure burying sand, and all the drawers are full of funny little gimmicks and products and jokes and things. They've got eye patches, custom-made hooks. I bought some loaded dice here. It's definitely a must-stop for all pirates and people visiting San Francisco. Now, when it comes to historical pirates, my favorites are Mary Read and Anne Bonny. This is an old etching illustration of them. And the exposed breasts, I guess, is just the artist's way of showing that they're women, but they did disguise themselves as men for the most part, and were two of the toughest pirates on the crew of Captain Calico Jack Rackham in the early 1700s. I love how heavily armed they are. They've both got axes and a brace of pistols. Pistols in those days only had one shot, so pirates would often carry several of them at a time. My friend Katie from the Pirate Makeover video took these shots out around Fort Mason area. This hatchet I actually bought at a hardware store just to do this look, and the pistols are all collected from thrift stores over the years. The cape and hat I thought were appropriate after finding a website for the Bonnie Reed Crew, K-R-E-W-E, a group of over 60 women in Florida who dress up as Mary Read and Anne Bonny and participate in parades and things, and wear capes and hats like this. Mine are both from vintage stores, again adding the ostrich plumes to the hat. I sewed the buttons onto these pants too to give them the button fly look from the etching. The pants and the vest I bought at a thrift store the day before. This was the only look I bought things especially for because I was trying to replicate a certain historical thing, and the earrings are little scrimshaw ships from a gift shop in the wharf area. The next day I donned my favorite pirate coat. The gray is actually a herringbone print, and then the black is velvet with a black braid trim. Gray sash to tie in with the gray of the jacket, and black velvet pants to tie in with the black velvet of the jacket. Everything's from a thrift store. The jacket was $15 at Goodwill. I saved this look for later in the project because I wanted to wear it when I was actually out at sea. I'm on the Adventure Cat here, which is a catamaran tour that leaves from Pier 39 and goes under the Golden Gate Bridge. It was a beautiful day for sailing, and it was really cool because all the catamarans for the American Cup were out training this day, and we went right past a few of them. My girlfriend Caitlin also got dressed up like a pirate. She's got my three-corner hat on, a top that she made, and a dark garden corset with my pirate belt over it, which I've worn before. The belt is by Oberon. They do beautiful journal covers and jewelry and belts like these out of fine pewter and really nice leathers. Another look I was planning from the beginning was a drag pirate look. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, but I had a few elements I was sure I was going to use, and it turned out even better than I was hoping for. A costume store pirate sash tied in a big bow. The tutu I actually made out of strips of tulle tied around an elastic waistband. I bought all the materials at Discount Fabrics. This corset is a dark garden corset. It's red sparkle vinyl like you'd find in a diner booth. It was actually a hand-me-down from a friend of mine, and a thrifted bullet belt slung across for good measure. The hook ring I made for pirate karaoke on September 19th, Talk Like a Pirate Day. Over-the-top jewelry is always good for drag. The makeup I didn't go too overboard with, although I do have some little feather-ended false eyelashes. This hat was a women's sun hat I pleated and sewed a red ribbon around the end of, and then stitched it up on three sides. My drag name is chenille stems, which is the generic term for pipe cleaners, and what I made this pin out of with some glued-on false eyelashes. The other thing that was made special for this look, Caitlin actually stitched these little red tabs and buttons onto my leg warmers, tying the red in the hat and the corset into the bottom half of the outfit. Tristan Crane took these next few photographs. Another look I wanted to try out while my face was shaved was a dead pirate. I also hosted a pirate movie night this night and spent so much time getting the house ready for the party that I only allowed myself like 40 minutes to dress up. I do like the way my face turned out, but had I had more time, I would have had even more fun with adding detail to it. I used Kryolan face paints, which go on pretty thick. I used a sponge to get the white and the big chunks of black, and then outlined the black with a brush. The little lines on my forehead and the outlines of the teeth are actually done with a liquid eyeliner pencil from Maybelline. I also dipped my sponge in green paint and just kind of splotched it around to give it kind of a decaying look, and then set everything with a little baby powder. The black burlap and leather outfit I had designed and helped my mom build when I was in high school as part of an evil elf costume for a movie I was working on. The white shirt is from a thrift store, just 3 or 4 slits along the sleeves, and then I've got these arm warmers that are made from an old sweater that was kind of falling apart. Tearing those pieces up are part of what I did in the 40 minutes I had to get ready. And then this red scarf around my waist actually has skull and crossbones on it. It's from a Tibetan store on Haight Street. The bandana was a gift. It's got a bunch of different pirate images on it, so I showed the skull. The eye patch is actually mesh and you can see through it. It's from a costume store. The skull necklace is made of cow bone. I got it on Native Peoples Day years ago. There were a bunch of vendors selling their wares before we all got ferried to Alcatraz for a sunrise ceremony. And the other necklace is a unique piece from the lady who sets up her Victorian jewelry stand on Market and Sandstone. I got to keep this barrel mug for an extra $10 at Smuggler's Cove. This is the crew before we headed home for pirate movie night. That's Tristan over my left shoulder who took all the previous photographs. We watched Cutthroat Island projected on a sheet and ate chili lime popcorn and banana coconut popcorn. This whole project was making me realize that I've been playing pirates for as long as I can remember. I started as a little kid and never stopped, but I thought it was time I paid homage to being a little kid and just making pirate accessories out of whatever was at hand. A bit of wood for a sword, a paper towel roll for a telescope, and a newspaper hat. The next day I was visiting my family in Sebastopol and had to put together a look based on what I brought with me or what I could find, like this chest, which was in the garage and made for a great pirate treasure chest. The pistol and belt I did bring with me. This thrifted double-breasted women's coat I wear all the time, and it makes a great pirate coat with the cuffed sleeves and the wide lapels. The greatest find in my parents' garage was this old felt hat of mine. I'd gone to a Renaissance fair in high school and tried one on similar to it and really liked it but couldn't afford it, and then my girlfriend at the time bought this for me for my birthday. And on to day 30 of the Pirate Project. These boots I wear all the time are Sidewalk, C-Y-D-W-O-Q. They're handmade in California. And the same black velvet pants I wore on the sailing day, one of my cheap swords I bought online years ago, and this skull I bought for $6 at Walgreens, pretty high quality. Sash is handmade by my mom. This vest is also black velvet. I got it at a thrift store and then replaced the buttons. They've got little anchors on them. And the long coat is from Wasteland in the Upper Haight. It is also black velvet and very warm, which was necessary because this day I went out to the Hyde Street Pier to do sea shanties, which happens the first Saturday of every month. Bring your own mug for cider and cocoa. This one I found at Goodwill. The event is held below deck on the Balclutha, which is a historical sailing ship set up as a museum during the day. It's really cool to be on there at night, though, amongst all these sailor types. Here's some fellow pirates. There are a few people dressed kind of historically. Other than that, it's plain clothes, lots of pea coats and sailor caps, though. And the final, 31st day of the Pirate Project was spent at Castro Street Fair. This is the second year that my band, The Sweet Trade, has hosted a pirate treasure dig game at the World of Wonderment Midway section of the fair. You can see our treasure chest tip jar in the bottom left corner, which read, "Give us a coin to add to our loot, buy a poor pirate a new pair of boots." People would dig through this sandbox for plastic gold coins and then trade them for random prizes I had brought. Of course, some people had to swab the deck or walk the plank, which is that board in the bottom right corner with the mop on it. We set up at 10 a.m. and struck at 6, so for the 8 hours I was there, my pirate costume did change a little bit. It was super hot, so I was glad I wore this see-through shirt, which I got at a thrift store. The earrings are from Piedmont Boutique. The skeleton I got at a bead store and put on a chain. The medallion is actually a coin from New Zealand with a ship on it, and I cut out the negative space using a jeweler's saw. My friend Luke Farmer makes these gorgeous seahorse pendants cast from real seahorses. I also wore hand-me-down striped trousers, my Argentinian sash, steam trunk cuffs from Dark Garden corsets, jackets from H&M, that flag pinned to the shoulder I've had since I was a kid, and I thought it was high time I experiment with fake facial hair. I loved this curly mustache. I had to cut it in half so that it would lay better, and the soul patch is another mustache cut in half. There's a little spirit gum in addition to the built-in adhesive. It really was magical getting to interact with people as a pirate all day. Here's a group of sailors I held captives. We had a few sword fights with these inflatable swords. Some friends would stop by, I'd dress them up, serve them drinks, rum, and limeade. This couple wanted a picture with the pirate tattoos they won as prizes. I also met a guy with real pirate tattoos who really dug the booth and hung out with me for a while. It was just the perfect culmination to my pirate project. It truly is a pirate's life for me.